Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie and welcome back to Secondhand Sickness. And so today I'm visiting Helsingborg. I traveled here for work and I thought I would actually take the time to check out a secondhand shop, or well, rather a record shop. And yeah, I'm trying to find this place now. I'm a bit stressed for time, but hopefully I'll get there to be able to check it out. But yeah, just stay tuned and we're gonna see what we can find. So it's been a few days and I'm back at the table. I've essentially flown back home and I had a whole lot of fun on my trip to Helsingborg. Now, as far as these secondhand shops that I checked out in town, these didn't really bring me anything, where they were essentially just music shops and they had some Blu-rays and DVDs, but not really any kind of VHS tapes. So I didn't really score anything at those places. However, then the next day, my colleague was nice enough to drive out to this place, which is called Hoarder Shop. And this is a shop that I've been very curious to visit because I'd recently heard about it, and I wasn't really expecting to go there during my trip to Helsingborg this time because I didn't really have a car. So it was really cool that she offered to drive me there over a lunch break, and I actually had the time to just, do a quick pop in and check out some of the stuff. Now, I would say that this was a fairly small store and they didn't have a whole lot of VHS, but it did have a couple of shelves. So I ended up with 3 VHS tapes. 2 of these came from Hoarder Shop and 1 came from another store. So we can start off with the stuff I got at Hoarder Shop. So the first tape is a copy of the movie The Descent by Neil Marshall. This is probably not really a rarity, but I don't think I've seen this too much on VHS recently. This is the larger clamshell variation, meaning that it is the Swedish rental box. Like I said, I don't consider this a collectible generally because, it's a newer movie. It's essentially from 2004. So fairly late release. I mean, VHS was around to somewhere around 2006, 2007. That's sort of when they were starting to disappear off the rental market. But yeah, this is a great movie and I didn't own this on VHS, so I thought it was a cool pickup. And yeah, not really too much else to say. I'm sure you can find this for cheap. But when I checked some of the regular sites that I tend to look at, checked Swedish eBay, checked some of these online secondhand stores, I couldn't see a copy for sale. So figured this was worth the pickup regardless. And it cost me 50 Swedish crowns, that's €5. Probably a bit of an overprice. I will say that the prices at Hoarder Shop were a bit high, I gotta say. I think they are sort of notorious for having fairly high prices, but they did have a whole bunch of cool stuff, so we'll have to give them praise for that. And the second film I got at Hoarder Shop is something that I was really surprised and happy about, and this is a Swedish rental copy of the movie Orgasmo. If you don't know about this, it is a adult comedy from the makers of South Park. And I didn't really know that this existed on VHS in Sweden, to be honest. I have a DVD import of this, but generally, it's just a VHS release which I was unaware of. So that was pretty cool. And I don't think I've ever seen a copy of it. I mean, this is a fairly obscure movie in terms of the Swedish market. I don't think it was released on DVD. It might be, but it's like a bare bones release. So generally, I don't think this was a movie that was particularly big here in Sweden. So with that, it was really cool to find a copy. It cost me €4. And this is a movie I like. I noticed that the case is a bit sort of broken, but I will probably replace this. And oh, there's actually a receipt in here. No idea why this is in here. Doesn't seem to be any relation to the actual tape. And so on the inside we just got some marketing for the movie, so nothing too special. Once again, not sure if this would be collectible. I don't think so, but I do think it's pretty rare actually. Couldn't find it on Swedish eBay or any of the other sort of typical sites I tend to check out. So definitely worth the €4 for me, because it is a awesome movie that I absolutely love. And so with that, that's all of the finds I got at Hoarder Shop. Then there was one second shop which I decided to check out at the same building. And this was also a record shop which had some pretty cool stuff. And I was able to grab one tape from there, and it is a movie I've not heard about, which is called Time Walker. And I just grabbed this because I thought the cover looked really cool. And once again, it was a tape I couldn't really find at my regular online sources. So I figured this might be kind of rare. And they essentially wanted €15 for this, which I know is a bit higher than what you might expect to pay. But once again, when you see a tape that's not really listed on your regular site that you tend to shop at, it might be that it's actually a bit of a rarity, and this is an old tape, it's a rental. So yeah, just generally I figured this might actually be worth it. It's a VTC release, which can be collectible, and so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is worth the 150 Swedish crowns. Could be more collectible, not sure, but either way, I really enjoyed this cover, so it was definitely worth the pickup for me. But yeah, that is actually all the stuff I got today. Not really a whole lot, so I guess the video might be, you know, more of a montage thing and, you know, sort of about my trip than about the actual finds. But I did find 3 things, so I think that is at least something warranting a actual video. Plus I did shoot a bunch of footage during the trip, so I figured I wanted to do something with it. But that's it. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and as usual, hope to see you all next time.